So a ton of people play Smash on a variety of levels, mostly casual, but some at our school competitive. And when casual players intersect with the competitive players, they'll realize that the game is a lot deeper than they had originally imagined. And when they see that they can get so much better at this game, it just builds this excitement.
I think one thing that's really important to consider when discussing the legitimacy of esports, which stands for electronic sports, is to look at the definition of a sport. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the definition of sport is an activity that you play in a happy and lively way. When you're playing a video game, you're happy and you're playing in a lively way, so it fits perfectly. But let's say that's not enough for you. According to the Oxford Dictionary, the definition of a sport is an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. Let's break this down a little bit. The first thing the definition states is that the activity has to involve physical exertion. Most people forget that when you're playing a video game, you're not just sitting down and looking at the TV screen. You're actively involved in what's being displayed on the television, which most people, when they watch a gamer, they look at the TV and see the results. But what they don't notice is how fast the controller is being used and how much work is put in to actually playing the game. As someone who's played video games for a very long time, I can tell you that, from my experience, it takes a long time to get used to a video game. You can't just pick up and play. If you do, you'll probably lose against who you are facing with. And at the collegiate level, you must have been playing video games for at least a couple of years before you could get good enough to join in.
So it's a common misconception that anyone can pick up a controller and just dominate in Call of Duty. But if you think about it, if you just pick up like a baseball bat, get up to bat, are you going to be able to hit a home run? No, it's going to take lots and lots of practice.
As someone who doesn't really play too competitively, I just sort of play for fun, I can see why people would really want to make a push into this field and get more recognition for esports. Because it does take a lot of work and it takes a lot of skill to do. As someone who's played a lot of sports, not at the collegiate level, but in general, I can say they put as much effort, if not more hours into it than the average athlete does.
There are two types of teamwork that is used in these events. There's the type of teamwork that requires players to work together in competing, and there's also the collaboration used to set up these events, which is phenomenal.
So when I'm playing video games, especially in this case Smash Brothers, with my friends at school, there's a level of camaraderie developed that I didn't really get with sports. When I played sports, it was more about yourself and what you can contribute to the team, whereas with video games, you speak with other people like, what could I have done better? What can I change next time I play you? And you give them the same advice. Whereas in a sport, it's more, what's your role in the team? How can you help? And you know, when you play other schools in a more competitive environment, a little bit less friendly, you have the same sort of camaraderie. It'll usually come after the important matches, the tournament games, because there is still the competition. You want to win. You're not going to help your opponent out until you've beaten them.
It helps everyone get better at whatever game they're playing. You find each other's faults and you help each other improve. And the general camaraderie is what helps people get better and have optimism to do better.
And finally, to wrap this up, The last part of the definition states that it has to be entertaining. What were video games made for? They were made to entertain people. That was their sole purpose.
You know, anyone can pick up a controller and play, and that's what makes games really accessible. But it's a bit more than that. The people that devote a lot more time to playing those games, yes, everyone can pick up a controller and play, but they'll be at different levels. It's a dedication and time that a player spends trying to identify all the different tricks and quirks of the game to fully master it in a way that they can actually play it on a competitive level. It's all about the commitment and devotion that they put towards that game.
I think our biggest difficulty is getting esports to really be in the limelight and getting support from different developers or from schools even. Tufts now has just begun to step in and kind of provide us with more resources, more actively recognizing the club. Our goal is to forward that and to work with the university in order to help provide funding, transportation, and just other essential resources for us to travel and compete against other schools. The more support you have and the more fan base you can garner, the more recognized and more legitimate esports will become. Gaming on your own is definitely one thing too, where it's fun, but when you go and make friends is really when it brings it together. I think Tufts Gaming Hub here, when I went to the first meeting, I was just amazed at how many people showed up. Honestly, there were probably 40-something people in that room, bringing all those people together and getting to meet them, and they were all so welcoming too. I mean, I had never met these people before in my life, and they were all saying, oh, come play Game League with us, come play Hearthstone, come do this. And I don't think a single person there would have said, oh, sorry, I'm busy, I'm doing this game while you're doing that one. No, everybody was welcoming, they wanted you to come play with them.
The thing about esports becoming a thing on college campuses is that it lets us get taken more seriously for the effort that we put in. We put in a lot of effort every week, and it's great to get recognition for what we do.